Hi, you're here because you want to know where to start with that long list of tasks. Today, I'm going to share the bang for your buck strategy for prioritizing your tasks. It's going to help us figure out which tasks are most important for our future selves. Let's get into it. We're going to start off by creating a continuum, much like we did in the other video on prioritizing using fun. Check that out if you'd like. In this case, we're going to start at the top and label it, "This will be important 2 years from now." Whatever that important means for you. What is that bang for your buck you're hoping for? Will it give you good feelings? Will it increase your money? Will it increase your job satisfaction? Will it help you keep your job? All of those things would go at the top. And in this case, at the bottom, we're going to label it, "This won't be important 2 years from now." As you're creating that line and labeling the parts, you're probably already thinking, I know what some things are that go at the top and some things that go at the bottom. Let's create the other continuum as an intersection. We're going to judge how sure we are of the payoff. So on one hand, I put this on the left, we're going to have, I am certain about the amount of payoff. Let me be clear. In this case, we're going to judge how sure we are about the level of payoff that we determined. So on the left, we say, I am certain, I am definitely sure about the amount of payoff that I estimated for this activity. And on the right, we're unsure if we've put the payoff at the right place. So it's not how sure we are that we will get a specific high leverage payoff, but how sure we are about the payoff we're expecting. Now that we have our matrix created, let's take a look at each item on my task list. I'm using the same ones from the last video and see where I would put them on my matrix. The first task is grade 20 videos. In 2 years, how important is grading this set of videos? I would say it is not super important for this specific set, but it is important that I grade something in the long term. This week, I've given a lot of feedback, so this is really not that important in the grand scheme of things, and I'm pretty certain in that decision. So this is going to go in the low importance in 2 years, and I'm pretty certain of it. The next task on my list is to re-review a journal article. In this case, I have already provided commentary on the article. The authors have resubmitted their article, taking my comments and any other reviewer comments into account. In this case, how important is this journal article review in the grand scheme of things? How much bang am I getting for my buck? If I just think about it in terms of my job at the university, I'm not getting that much bang for my buck by doing this, because we all know that service is not what gets you tenure, and it's not what gets you promoted. Although you have to do some service for promotion and tenure, it's not the main thing. I do, however, get a lot of bang for my buck in terms of my feelings of giving back to my profession and supporting colleagues in getting their articles published. I'm going to put this kind of at the midpoint of bang for my buck. I think it's going to be a valuable payoff for me in 2 years in terms of I can look back and see how many articles I have reviewed for my colleagues. How certain am I of this payoff? I would say that I am mediocre certain of the payoff as well. I would put this almost right in the middle of my chart. Okay, next up on my list, create the weekly lesson plans for course 1. Now, in 2 years, am I going to be happy I did this? Absolutely. Do you know why? Because every semester I can copy that template over and just make changes to the dates. If I realize that my classes found something confusing, then I can just update it. I'm going to get a lot of value out of this in 2 years when I can just go back to what I've already created. This is really high on my bang for my buck. It helps me be a good teacher, which is going to help me get better reviews. My students like knowing what's going on in advance. And then in 2 years, I'm actually going to be able to use that information. So I'm putting that really high at the top. Now, am I certain that it's going to be that high? Usually I would say, absolutely, I'm going to use this in 2 years. However, in this case, my department is considering changing to a new textbook within the next 3, 4, 5 years. So I'm a little less certain about how important this is. It's going to go really high on the what my bang for my buck would be, and a little less on the how certain am I that this is going to be important. I'm going to put that kind of in that upper left quadrant, which is I'm pretty certain, and it's got a pretty high value. Super. Now I move on to the next item on my to-do list. Next, I have enter the assessment plan into the university system. My personal bang for my buck here is related to goodwill, being someone that keeps their word and does work that is important. I would say the return on this investment is not personally satisfying, but I will be glad that it's inputted correctly and I'm not having to backtrack in 2 years. Okay. So it is going to have some relevance to my career in the future. And I'm a little questionable about the certainty of that. I'm going to put it in the top right quadrant in this case. Finally, analyzing focus group data. I need to code some data. In 2 years, is this going to be important? Yes, it is going to have significant payoff because this is a significant line of my research agenda. It's what I'm working on. It's what I'm working toward in terms of my reappointment and promotion in the future. And it's what I'm hoping to continue building my academic career on. So this is extremely high payoff. And I am certain that it is high payoff because I know that the currency of academia is publications. And I can't get more publications without analyzing this data. So I am putting this on the completely high payoff, completely certain area of this chart. There we go. All of the tasks from my task list are now plotted onto this matrix. And here's what I know by looking at my matrix. If I look at my matrix and I think, what am I most certain is going to have biggest bang for my buck in the future, then I'm definitely starting with the coding of the research data because that is going to have the biggest impact on my future career. Next, I'm actually, based on this, going to create lesson plans because I am certain I can reuse those in the future. And then I'm going to review the article and then I'm going to do that assessment plan in the system. I'm a little uncertain about the importance of this grading in 2 years. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be super important in 2 years. And therefore, it's not high on my priority list of what I'm going to get done this week. If that needs to completely be scratched, then it's scratched because it's not a significant assignment for my students. If it were a test, then it would be a little bit more important because then I would have students complaining that I wasn't grading their important work. So that's how I use the system of bang for your buck to determine how I'm going to allocate my time and what projects get priority. Today, we worked through prioritizing your tasks based on bang for your buck, which is what is the outcome? How important is this 2 years from now? And when we talk about bang for your buck, it doesn't have to be money or keeping your job. It could just be fulfillment and you feel good and it is important. 2 years from now, you'll be like, dang, I'm glad I did that. Doing this work also will help you feel good about the decisions you're making and you're not left floundering, what should I work on? Because you have a clear anything that is high value in 2 years and you are certain of it, just get started on that work right now. If you like this content, hit the thumbs up and subscribe so you'll know when we do our next round of prioritization using a different method. I'm Kimberly Hale, Faculty Success Coach, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Keep exploring.